We are live now. Um, any questions you had before we get started, by the way?
Nah, I'm gonna ask him on the fly.
All right, man.
You're my
Sounds good.
guy.
Sounds
Because
good.
you're gonna have to tell me about the QuakeCon recap and the
Yep.
community spotlights and stuff like that.
For sure, for sure. Um, all right, all right. Probably open up the segment sounds. I'm gonna do it a little differently this time. I'm actually gonna click the damn things instead of pushing play every time I want to go to the next one. I have to send them up on sound bumpers, but I've been such a fucking wreck this week with work, so.
Dude, tell me about it. Between not having power for 1 week and then
a whole week
with him, close, few days. Like that was last week with the storm going by, and then this week I had a coworker on vacation, and then with one of the rainstorms that came through, it dropped so much rain in such a short amount of time the ground didn't absorb it. So I ended up with a little bit of minor flooding in my home.
Jesus.
This has just been 2 weeks of I hate my life.
No shit. And then next week's not going to get any better. So they asked me yesterday if I wanted to work late on Tuesday because we're doing a delivery on Wednesday. So I have to go pick up the truck after 4:30. So I'm going to be working like an hour and a half overtime. And then Wednesday, first thing in the morning, we're loading the truck up. We're going about an hour and 10 minutes away for our first delivery. Then we're coming back, and then we're taking another hour and 10 minutes the other way to do another delivery. It's just like, holy fuck, guys. And they're not small jobs. They are sizable. So yeah, it's going to be a long day Tuesday, a long day Wednesday, and what does Kinara do on Tuesdays and Wednesdays? He streams. So that's not happening this week.
You could be one of those, like, what is it? They had, like, the just chatting streamers. I seen a couple of where they just sleep on the freaking stream.
No doubt, right?
What quality? Like, and who's the show who watches somebody sleep? That's
there
just
are
messed
people
up and creepy.
There.
That's fucking creepy.
There are people out there. I wouldn't want to have people watch me sleep. I don't know what I do in my sleep. But hey, it is what it is. People love to watch people sleep.
Yeah, look, there's Kinara sleeping, picking his ass.
Shit, right? Like, or whatever. Who the fuck knows? I apparently I talk in my sleep, so I mean that's a thing.
Oh, that'd be great. Fuck my viewers.
One day I'm gonna be rich and famous because my viewers are dumbasses. I'm not even being serious, guys. Don't ever quote me on that.
Yeah, no. Or just like, but we know there are people that are out there like that, like going, yes, give me your money.
Yeah. Oh, pretty much. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, total disclaimer here: any money that I get from this is basically going right back to the stream, really. So
to invest in what you're doing, yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's gonna, you know, obviously, like
Winter's Noble doesn't come cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man. Yeah. For all those out there listening, so Winters is actually gonna slowly be working on the graphic side of things for me. So yeah, he doesn't come cheap. Give me your money. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm a cheap date. Let's be real. $1 menu, and I'll put out.
Oh, $1 menu. All right, we're going to McDonald's tonight, bro. Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Wow. Fucking dumpster fire on the pre-show. Love it. One sec. I fucking didn't put anything out on Discord or Twitter today. Oops. Should have probably put that out earlier. Oh well. But it is.
And we know we haven't gotten the timing down and all that other stuff, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
There is no regularity to it, you know.
Nope, not
back
one
to
bit.
your regularly scheduled programs of anything other than us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Saturdays I'm usually on at 3 because that's when I do my trials, but I've decided not to do trials this week, and depending on moving forward, if Saturday recording works for you, then yeah, not doing trials on Saturdays. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
normally it'll be a little earlier because it'll be easier, but I had to run some stuff this morning to get things done.
Yeah.
That and with Hanzo, it's his birthday today, so I'm gonna
Of
go out
course.
and spend some time with him. Supposed to go out to dinner. That's why I kind of try to get it done. Because
Mm-hmm.
if he's another person who like kind of doesn't give you the detail as to what's going on until like I spoke to him this morning. I'm like, you're a dick. You don't give me answers. Like.
Yep. Exactly. Oh, I mean,
Uh,
at the end of the day, birthdays are important, especially with everything going on in the world. So.
yeah, well, he's like a brother, so I got to go out, spend some time with him, and then
Yep.
probably end up doing something next Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But earlier in the day, I won't really have anything to do. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You're doing the Discord thing. I had to open up Discord in a web browser so it didn't muck up your mic and will let everybody see what I was typing. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And then it's like, I'm over here.
No, actually, I'm over there. Oh boy. All right.
No, I know what I could give you. I should probably give you the layers of the wolf head from my emblem so it could be up on there.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, that's a great idea. I would totally put that down.
It just occurred to me because I see this large black space.
Mm-hmm.
And you should consider maybe also putting the names in for you and for me underneath the pictures.
Oh, yes, that's a good
Or
call. That is a very good call. What's going on here? Discord, you're taking a shit. Well, we'll just do it myself.
It can't handle the power.
Well, usually by now, I've been like live for 5-10 minutes. Usually by now, it'll have kicked over on Discord that I'm live. Hasn't. I guess my
Have you been
bot is
playing
down.
Have you been playing in Necromancer lately? Maybe it thinks you're undead.
Actually, funny enough, I have been playing a Necromancer lately.
There you go. You can't go live. You're a lich.
I have a Necro Healer that's at level 30, and then yesterday I made an Argonian Necro Tank. It is now level.
See, I could trust
16.
that, but the Necro Healer worries me. I don't like.
It's
as much as I understand it works. I understand, but it's like it seems so counterintuitive because it's like I want you to be dead, so I could use your body.
Yes, exactly. And then I'm gonna reanimate your corpse. So there's that too.
No, I don't trust them. They're kind of shady, shifty individuals.
Yeah. Well, either way, it is what it is. So yeah, but my Necro Tank is an Argonian, and its name is kills all deer. And I mean, for anybody that knows who Kinara is, and anybody who knows who Pixie is, I got outed on her stream with a clip about killing a ghost deer when I was, an itty bitty kitty. Tongue twister right there for y'all. And yeah, I've never been able to live it down, so I said, fuck it. I'm gonna embrace the killing of the deer, and I'm gonna name my Argonian Kills All Deer because it's lore friendly.
Well, have you been going out and killing all deer though?
Or
is it just because?
Go ahead.
Or is it just because you killed the one deer?
Well, see, I killed the first deer, and then she said, "Shame on you, Kinara. Shame on you." So
yeah, and I would have did the exact same thing you did.
So I turned around and I said, "You know what?" And I killed the second one right beside it.
I've done that.
And then a little bit later, we're wandering around and we wander past this ghost heron. And everybody literally turned around, looked at me and said, "Kinara, don't touch the ghost heron." So I'm like, yeah, okay, no problems. So we walked past the ghost heron. We did whatever we had to do in that little area. We walked past the ghost heron again. Everybody was far ahead of me. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Kinara, you left the heron alive." I'm like, "Yeah, of course I did." As soon as I said that, I whipped around, light attacked the heron, and kept on going. So I have been known as the sadistic ghost animal killer of March of Sacrifices since about 2 weeks into playing this game.
See, now what you got to do is you got to go out there, just start recording and just mow every animal that you see down and then send it to her.
Yes. Oh, yes. Trust
Just
me.
mow leave the bandits alive, mug every bit of wildlife you can.
Pretty much, right? Pretty much.
And then be the extra dick. When you go to loot stuff, leave the junk behind.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Like, this is just... Tonight is my day to be a douchebag.
I've basically told everybody, I'm like, you can't tell Kinara not to do something, because you know what? He's gonna do what he wants to do, and if that means killing ghost deer, that means killing ghost deer. So, anyways, it is what it is. That's, yeah. All right, well, let us, I mean, we're at the top of the hour pretty much now, and so we'll go radio silent here for a few moments while I get everything situated, and we'll get going on the podcast here. End of pre-show starts now. Fire and a half. All right. Well, yeah. Take two. Give me a second here, guys. Technical difficulties has decided they don't want to work for it. Things don't want to work for me today. All right.
I can't even spell. Difficult tires.
I mean, we are car guys, so tires works. Burnout. Literally, this is a burnout episode already. Okay.
Yeah, but that's like the kind of burnout where you rode it too long and the tires exploded.
Right? No fucking shit. Alright. Let us try this again. Radio silence in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is starting off great. Welcome everybody, Kinara here for another exciting episode of the Fallen Stars of Tamriel podcast. This is episode number 8. This week we're gonna be doing some talk about class changes. However, you know, dumpster fires are happening and derailments have already started. And
that's what happens when you involve the Crown Prince of Douche.
Who, me or you?
Me.
Oh. Perfect.
You brought me in and all hell broke loose.
Well, I mean, this is also my third live episode, so there is that. All right, so guys, last week on the show, we covered the Crown Store Showcase, ESO's Next Gen support announcement, and the Acolytes Corner about the light attack weaving. We also then finish it off with a discussion with our wonderful co-host here, Winter's Noble, about Cyrodiil and the live testing that Zos had been conducting inside the zone. This week, however, we're going to be going over the Stonethorn Dungeon preview, the Bethesda's QuakeCon recap, and a community spotlight. We will talk about that community spotlight in a few moments here, who it is, what it is, and then what we're going to do is we're also going to talk about the Acolytes, about the antiquities on the Acolytes, or in our Acolytes Corner segment. Already, I'm screwing this up. Fuck. I should just start reading a teleprompter. Damn it.
Teach me, senpai.
Pretty much. And then we are going to have a talk about the upcoming class changes, as well as the Mundus Stone changes. And then we're going to round it off with some talk about some very helpful craftable beginner gear sets. So, with that in mind, let us hop on over to the news as soon as I turn repeat. There we go. Alright. News time, guys.
So QuakeCon just went down, huh?
Yeah. QuakeCon just went down, and
anything interesting? Because I haven't followed in a long time. And I think the last time I ever watched a QuakeCon for them was that they were originally talking about the spell crafting system that they never brought in.
Yeah. I don't know. I was not around for that one. I unfortunately also wasn't around for this one because the first day was while I was at work, and I don't really like playing YouTube videos because I don't like my phone on my desk, because then my boss comes over and he's all like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Well, nothing. It's just playing." But if I put it in my pocket, it's gonna keep pausing it. So, however, and then Saturday, I don't remember what I was doing on Saturday, but I think I missed it. I probably slept in that day, to be honest. And then Sunday we were recording the podcast. So there was that. But this time around, so we're just gonna quickly go over this.
It'd be worse if you told your boss or a coworker, if they catch you watching. It's like, what are you watching? Something game related or porn?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh boy! So the QuakeCon at home recap, they went over the Stonethorn trailer. That's where the video was, for crying out loud. Now I found it. Just had to look at the right news article, for crying out loud. If you guys want to go and take a look at the new Stonethorn trailer, which is what I was going to play on the live stream today, and well, that didn't out. There it is over on the QuakeCon at home recap, on the Elder Scrolls page. They also had a bunch of amazing ESO live streams. If I remember correctly, a couple of the live streams I had caught, there was a couple of community members, part of the stream team. There was also another, good friend of mine, Lotus of Doom, was also streaming for the QuakeCon at home event. He's also one of the co-hosts of the Tales of Tamriel podcast. Another amazing podcast if you guys like dumpster fires and derailment. They are the kings over there of that.
We got to up our game then. We need lots of dumpster fire. like we need to burn this bitch straight down to the ground. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so basically what they did, bunch of different streams, like I was saying. They did a voiceover chat with Jennifer Hale and Robbie Damon. I wasn't able to see that one. I don't know exactly what that one was all about. I haven't had a chance to check it out. Then they did a gearless and fearless dungeon run with Nicole Savoy, and from what I've heard, Nicole Savoy is a professional wrestler. So that was apparently a big thing. Don't know who Nicole Savoy is. Don't know if you know who Nicole Savoy is, but that was a thing.
But I can find out for us.
Perfect. So yeah, they did a obviously gearless and fearless dungeon run. And if anybody doesn't know what a gearless run is, well, me and Winters can tell you that it's a barrel of laughs, especially when you try and run a trial with absolutely no gear, and all you're doing is swinging aimlessly with your fists until you can find a staff or a sword or a shield.
Sanctum Ophidia naked.
Yeah, and then
nothing like no protection. Spread the herpes. Everybody gets herpes.
Exactly. And then I can't remember if I had covered this last week or not, but I did a naked Vet Frost Vault run with Hyperpixie Gaming, Arcaneer, and Solace Gaming. All wonderful, wonderful podcasters. Arcaneer and Hyperpixie are both streamers as well as podcasters for the Tales of Tamriel podcast. And then Solace Gaming actually just started his new podcast a few weeks ago. He's now recording episode 2 today, actually. So another again, you know, big shout out to all of those wonderful people. Think that the nice part about this community is, you know, we're all very supportive of each other, and they've all been very supportive as me as well. So, you know, I have to throw the support right back at them. And
Yeah, I
again,
have to say that about ESO community is generally they are very supportive. Even if like even inside the PvP community, you see some stuff that's just like as much as you get like the egos or other things, just sometimes when it comes down to a personal like outside of the game, just a person to person, there's a
mhm,
lot of respect that occurs, which is really nice to see. And
exactly.
real quick on the aside, yeah, Nicole Savoy was a WWE diva
Oh,
who apparently retired in 2017. But yeah, so she was a professional wrestler
fair enough. That would be
with the
why I have
WWE.
no idea who she is, because I haven't watched WWE in about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, well, look, I think the last time I watched had to be back in the old Stone Cold Steve Austin, early, The Rock days. You know, that
Nice.
was Austin 316.
360. Oh, dude. So funny you should bring that up. And I mean, we did say earlier about the tech difficulties and tires and being car guys. So a little tidbit of information. I mean, this is totally off topic and probably breaking everybody's immersion, but I have to say it because you brought it up. My truck build that I'm working on right now is actually going to be 316 cubic inches for the motor displacement, the V8, and
Nice.
I've actually got decals ready to go on the truck with Steve Austin smashing beer cans together. So
Nice.
that is why I had to bring that up, because honestly, man, I'm so excited for this freaking build, and I mean, hopefully I'll be able to get it, finished up here soon. But I mean, with everything going on in the world, I've been trying to save every penny I can just in case, work becomes non-existent. But
Yeah, yeah.
if we keep derailing and
But but
going off topic,
but you got to do things like that though to maintain your sanity. That's why gaming is a good thing, to a certain
hmm
extent, and then you just got to maintain it. So many people like it's just all this action and that with what's going on is just it puts
yep,
people into a state of depression and all this stuff. Not to be a total downer on this thing, but
it
you
is.
gotta focus on things that make you happy.
Yep,
Gotta make you
exactly.
happy.
Exactly. And I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, man, not talking about it is not going to make it go away, right? So, I mean, it
Hmm.
is affecting everybody's life, and we're all just trying to find, different ways to cope, like you said. And for some, it's gaming, for some, it's hiking, for some, it's biking. There's multiple different things. So,
I have to say my timing was absolutely impeccable. When all this started going down, of course I step away from gaming because I'm like, I need to, and then I need to get out more. And COVID.
yep, yep. I was saying the same thing, man.
Why?
I wanted to get my truck started because, hey, perfect timing. It's starting to get warm out. I can work out in the sun, you know, and whatever. Anyways, let's get back on track here because, like I said, we can go on forever about cars because, I mean, it's my other passion outside of gaming.
Oh yeah.
So the Bethesda, Dutch, Deutsch, German, I can't even remember. One of the other Bethesda channels actually had a developer interview with Mike Finnegan, who has actually been called out for his newest title. More so, it's called the Encounters lead instead of just the Dungeon lead. So now he is, officially a higher lead. I don't know. It was apparently a big deal that it dungeons to encounters, but yeah. So he was on doing a developer interview about the dungeons.
Mhm.
Another live stream was the Pete and Rob Whitaker take on ESO. Again, don't know who
So
those two.
did they hint anything to any changes as to how the encounter system is going to work? I mean, you know, was there anything interesting with that? Because I mean, I'm always looking for dungeons and things like that to be more mechanic heavy, I guess, to a certain extent somehow. Like,
Well, it's funny you should say that because the Stone Garden dungeon, which we will be going over in a few minutes here, actually has a pretty unique mechanic where you actually have to drink a potion and get transformed into a werewolf.
That sounds awesome.
It kind of does, and I'm kind of really curious. Another thing that they're doing that's new. I mean, it's not much different, but the hard mode thing. So now it's going to be a hard mode activation per boss. A mega werewolf laughing says, yes, exactly. So now, instead of just being the final boss being a hard mode, you can actually activate hard mode on each boss, each major boss, not any side bosses.
So you can make the whole dungeon a hard mode.
Yes, exactly. Kind of
That's
very
cool.
similar. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying that's very cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do kind of the same idea as Sunspire. And
yeah, I mean, I like the idea of just making the overall dungeon a little harder across the board instead of just the final boss. Because I think that if you're going to make different mechanics and stuff like that, just don't have it just the final. Make the dungeon harder, overall, and that's pretty cool.
The other very interesting part about that, and like I said, we'll be going over all this with a little bit of that preview. Is from this point forward, they're going to be moving to that structure with the being able to activate hard mode per major boss. However, to continue doing the hard modes, you have to do each previous hard mode. So if you don't do the first hard mode, you can't do hard mode throughout the rest of the dungeon.
Okay, that's also good too. Yeah.
So they're
making
like
gating it a little bit.
Yeah. So they're making it that if you want the hardest content, you're doing it all the way through. So yeah, there was but like I said, there was a bunch of different streams that had gone on. We got the Encounters Lee Mike Finnegan developer interview. There was a take on ESO by Pete and Rob Whitaker. They did a playthrough of the game, I guess, and kind of gave their thoughts. They had a live art creation and chat stream from the concept artist Mike K. So you actually got to watch him designing characters and stuff like that on stream. So it was kind of neat there as well.
I really do appreciate the artistic, styling and just the overall art direction that the game has taken. I mean, and I think they've even done it better and better as they've progressed. I mean, there were certain things about the early base game, it was there was a certain sense of a blandness to it, but they've really upped their world creation and things like that and character creation since the beginning, since release of the game. They've really improved it at each step. It's noticeable if you look at the different DLC and expansions. It's gotten better, in my opinion.
Oh, exactly.
A lot better with world creation.
Exactly. So yeah, at the end of all of this, there was some exciting news that they would like to they wanted to share with us. And that is they actually raised over $30,000 for the charities that they were running, and I can't for the life of me remember what they were. There was 4 different charities that they were raising for. See if I can find them quickly here. There it is. So the charities they were using was Stack Up, which is a support for veterans that managing their PTSD through playing video games. Another one was...
That's a big thing, especially for ESO, because I mean, I've met a lot of people who are, military veterans. I mean, there were guilds of them. That's a big deal. There's a lot of them inside of ESO.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I mean, I'm the one that's inserting on you, and you're the host. I'm here.
And I'm actually glad. I honestly, I wanted to say more on that, but I tried to jump the gun there and feel like an absolute dick because I kind of breezed over it. So, I mean, thank you for stopping me.
You're not a dick for that reason. You're just a dick.
PTSD is not a thing, not something easily dealt with. My father, and I mean, I'm not going to go into full details, but he almost lost his life 13 years ago from a massive attack. And he's been dealing with the PTSD of it since then. And it's not easy to live with for yourself, nor is it easy to live with when your family is. So a charity like this, to be honest, is absolutely amazing to be able to help. You know, I mean, in this case, it's the veterans, but, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder is no joke. So, didn't mean to get all, didn't mean to get all blubbery there, but yeah. So, wait, hold up. I might have just screwed this all up. This was for last year. Why the hell would they put it at the bottom?
Ah,
Anyways, awesome, great, Kinara, you're just fucking it all right up.
either way, you
Anyways,
touched on the fact that, you know what, the community, you know, generally, it's nice to know that they do aim to do things for the community and for the people at large. I mean, I've seen a
exactly.
bunch of games that do that, and I think it's nice when, you know, companies, even if, you know, we just had a herp derp moment, it's, you know, we can reflect and appreciate the fact that people do go out of their way to support others who are in need and do need that support.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, so moving on from that then, because that's pretty much it for that.
Bail! Bail!
Fail hard, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so that's the QuakeCon recap. Again, guys, if you guys want to see any of the streams, the Elder Scrolls Online website has them all listed there under the QuakeCon recap heading. The next thing up, and this, I'm sorry, I think this is super, super, super cool. If you guys are a fan of the Fallout series, we all know about the vaults that make Fallout what they are, or what it is. So there was a content creator by the name of Fu Turco. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologize. They actually crafted a Fallout vault from the classic series inside of ESO's Homestead system. Wow.
All right, I gotta see this.
Let me see if I can pull up some pictures here. One sec. Actually, you know what? There is a video. Give me a second here, guys. I want to showcase this. This is super cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
Right?
I feel like I actually have to show this because I told you that, like, I'm heading out with Hanzo later, but his girlfriend, she plays Fallout 76 and is a big Fallout fan.
Mm-hmm.
I have to show that to her, just because that's cool.
No friggin' doubt, right?
I have to say, man, some of the stuff that people come up with is just absolutely impressive. I just, damn.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
The
Okay,
dedication, and it's just.
All right, I was gonna do this, but Streamlabs is having a herky jerk moment, so I'm not gonna fuck around with it too much. Yeah, guys, if you guys want to take a look at that, go ahead and, again, over on the Elder Scrolls Online official webpage. But a little bit about Paterko, and I mean, there was a little bit of an interview that was done for her when it came to the inspirations and process of the building of the homestead. She classifies herself as an ordinary girl. I mean, aren't we all just ordinary people? But I mean, not to take it away from her, but you know, it's the ordinary people that make the extraordinary happen. So, she first started her adventure with ESO from the early beta, which I'm pretty sure Winters is right around that same time as well. So, I mean, obviously a lot of experience has gone into the way she has, you know, helped herself to design this thing. As soon as the Homestead patch dropped, she said she was hooked. The inspiration that went behind building the homes, so different from those typically found in Tamriel, was the story of Hansel and Gretel from the Grimm brothers, which inspired her first build. She said she had a lot of fun with it, and she actually had made a video for it, and was so happy with the result that it inspired various later houses like the ones from Fallout or the Wild West. So yeah, if you haven't already, go take a look at Turco and check out a bunch of her work, because it is some amazing stuff. Like Winters was saying, is, you know,
I'm watching the video again because it's impressive. It is absolutely impressive.
I would push the play button, but then it's gonna come through the stream, and I mean, I don't want to wreck it. I don't want to wreck the idea of it for everybody. Like, guys, just go take a look at it. It's amazing. And then
maybe I'll figure out how to maybe get things where I can run videos through my my end of this, just so people can see it at some point.
Yeah,
I can always do that to offload some of the load.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't. I think, I don't know. I think it's because I probably hadn't restarted my computer, and it is quite warm in here. I don't know exactly what my temperatures are at the moment, but it's
getting hot in here.
Yeah. So don't take off all your clothes, please. I don't want to see that. All right,
Nobody
guys.
wants to see that. Trust me.
No doubt.
Man, you don't have to be such a douche.
Oh boy. All right, guys.
Yeah, see, viewership dropped immediately once I mentioned that. Bail.
All right, guys. So next up, we have the Stone Garden dungeon preview. This is one of the two newest dungeons that are coming out with the episode update 27, and for some reason, why do I do? There we go. So hidden within the twisting caves of Blackreach lies the secret laboratory known as the Stone Garden. There, inside this age-old dwarven complex, the mad alchemist Arcasis toils unceasingly to perfect his latest abominations. Wow, I could not speak there for a second. So Mike Finnegan states that not much is known about the Stone Garden other than the fact it was an abandoned Dwemer facility of some kind. Of course, we're bringing up the Dwemer again. Please tell us what happened to the Dwemer. That's all I gotta say. So ESO's encounters.
Well, I mean, there are theories.
Well, of course there are theories. Actually, you know what? Let's speculate for a second. I want to hear a theory. I want to see if it's the theory that I've been. One of the theories I've heard.
I mean, from what I remember hearing about was that when they activated the Numidium, and they were basically trying to bring the overall race up to the equivalent almost like godhood, they couldn't. This is where it kind of gets into the whole godhead idea, and either you zero sum or you achieve Kim.
Yep.
So apparently, when they found out that they were just part of a dream, that they were not a real entity, they even as a race couldn't even rationalize that they were a dream, that they were quote unquote fake. So they zero summed as a race.
Makes sense.
Except for the one Dwemer who apparently was in a realm of oblivion when this all went down, and he comes back and he wasn't part of it. But they zero summed out of existence.
That is definitely not one that I've heard, so it's actually nice to see a different perspective. I mean, obviously they blipped out of existence.
No, yeah, it was upon when they I guess what was it? They stabbed the heart of Lorcan, or they were using the heart of Lorcan to activate the Numidium, and boop.
Yeah,
they didn't have the ego of Tiber Septim who was just like, nah, I'm real.
Pretty much, right? Yeah, so the pipes, tubes, and dwarven machines were perfect for Arcasis's plans, and so he retrofitted them with his own designs, making the entire structure one giant laboratory. I mean, this is kind of pretty super cool. I mean, Arcasis obviously isn't a Dwemer, but he's screwing around with Dwemer machines. So, I don't know, it's Do we think that he is going to attempt to try and do something similar to what the Dwemer are doing? Who knows, right? But interesting dungeon, and we'll see what the story has to play out.
But I mean, it's not unheard of in essence, because I mean, what was it? It's Sotha Sil has honestly been seeking an understanding of tonal. What was it? Tonal architecture or something like that, or
yes,
tonal magic essentially.
Not the exact word, but basically yes.
Yeah, so it's the tonal magic essentially. I know it's tonal, but I can't get I forget the other secondary word that's part of
constancy.
that.
Why does that word is ringing a bell? Tonal constancy or consistency. I think it starts with C. We're gonna start having to do lore lessons here pretty quick.
I think it is. It's tonal architecture.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, well, tonal architecture.
That is how he's made the Clockwork City, right?
Well, I'm not sure. He was. That one I'm not exactly entirely sure. I know that the Dwemer with the tonal architecture, I know he was basically dabbling in understanding where they were coming from with that. I don't know the lore as to how strong his understanding is, even in comparison to, let's say, Kagranak, who was the one who foobarred the whole Dwemer with the Numidium. But I mean, it's not unheard of for somebody to be studying it, and if I wouldn't be surprised if by now somebody's got a little bit of an adaptation to try to get it to work.
Mm-hmm. And isn't there a storyline about a tonal interrupter or something that was crafted by one of Sotha Sil's most esteemed? What's the word I want to use? Words are hard. Like one of his disciples, kind of thing, or
one of the retainers, maybe. Or...
Yeah. I mean, I think as far as I remember, I played through it in the very, very beginning. But guys, if you guys are interested in that Sotha Sil storyline, it is in the Vardenfell Morrowind chapter. Worth a playthrough before you jump over to this new Stone Garden dungeon, because it'll kind of give you an idea of the Dwemer and the tonal architecture, like Winters was saying. Yeah, so in Arcesis' laboratory, you and your team must discover the entrance to this hidden laboratory, face the Mad Alchemist's terrible designs, and put a stop to his vile experiments. Worry not, for you won't have to do it alone, as Gwendis of House Ravenwatch, from the base game, and Castle Thorn dungeon, which is the other dungeon from the Update 27 patch, joins you in your investigation of this ancient complex and its newest master. Indeed, you'll need all the help you can get if you are to face Arcesis' latest creations. Now, from what I have heard with the dungeon creations and stuff like that, is they actually have it where the NPCs are actually a little bit more helpful than they have been previously. Depths of Malatar comes to mind, where you had to heal the darn healer because she kept on taking massive damage because she couldn't defend herself. But yeah,
seems like a standard for any kind of Elder Scrolls based game is NPCs that are there to help you are just bullet sponges at best.
Yeah, and I mean, they did show a little bit of that with the Western Skyrim, with Lyris actually doing some modicum of support and damage. So, I mean, let's see how that actually plays out, because it would be neat to have an actual companion coming to help you along the way, like hired mercenaries or something. Even if you're doing solo content, I think it would be a neat addition to your solo play for, helping with, soloing dungeons. I mean, I know soloing dungeons is easy in the base game, and you can get through most of them, and some of the DLCs have also been soloed, but maybe having that architecture of the companion style would be a neat addition for people that want to play more solo. But who knows? We'll see.
I mean, I could see that being the case, because I mean, for a lot of people who really wanted to enjoy the Elder Scrolls game, the game ESO solo, in that sense of it's an immersion thing. I mean, you have so many players running around, and sometimes you have people that'll come together, but a lot of times they want to be the hero that saves the day. And ESO a lot of people didn't like the idea of being forced into grouping. So, if you can have, a dungeon or something like that, instead of like, oh, these NPCs, we need to save the day, you're going in alone. Instead of like, Lyris, or why didn't you come in with me? You let me go on, on into my own to die. But no, I mean, so if you have an NPC that could go in with you, or at least then it kind of seems like, it is a worldly aspect. I think it's an immersion thing that helps make the story.
Oh,
that's that role-making aspect that you should be expecting from any kind of MMORPG, honestly. Not even just ESO.
Totally. Laughing wants to raise his hand and ask a question, I'm assuming? So Laughing says, it's not so much sharing the limelight as it is people rushing through the dungeon when you want to explore. Good point. Actually, that's a solid point. Me and Laughing have had this conversation many, many times before where, people just want to enjoy that, that storyline and can't because the tank is already halfway through the dungeon by the time you get through that first set of dialogue.
That's true. A lot of people generally, especially if you're going to use the instance match system, that person just wants to get in and get the hell out.
Yeah, exactly. And Laughing, yeah, I get it. Just preferring to solo the game would be, obviously ideal for the most part. Obviously, at the end of the day, you can't solo a trial. But I mean, you don't have to do the trials. I mean, yeah, there's a story to it, but you don't have to have the best of the best gear to do solo. There is a lot of, crafted sets or overland sets that can actually help you do some of that solo stuff. I was actually looking at a build from Hack the Minotaur today about a Sork that can easily solo a lot of the lower end content, or not just the lower end content, but the overland content and stuff like that. So, and it was a very heavy attack set that he had been talking about. And had I not already chosen the sets for this week, I probably actually would have covered the sets that he had used. Because he was soloing world bosses in the video like they were butter. So, yeah, and that wasn't even, none of it was trial gear. It was all craftable and overland stuff.
It's kind of funny, my PvP build and I guess with my Sork, I've usually could go out into the open world and solo stuff. It's like, I mean, you can kind of pull it off. But I mean, honestly, in comparison, I mean, I actually do like the idea of playing with other people, but it's people that I know. I'm a social person. I like to be able to play with people, but I'm not a fan of the with the pug, just a random person, because you end up with the same thing. But, if I could go in with a group, like it's 4 of us, and, me and 3 people I know from the guild, that, we're friends. It's like that companion-esque, experience, going through. And to me, I find that much more enjoyable. I mean, like I said, to each their own, some people want to play alone and experience it, and you are, but I like the idea of, and it's similar in that regard to the, I don't like the people who run off and ruin it. I like to sit there and experience it with people I know. It's just more personal, and I like doing it in voice. Voice adds a lot more to it too.
Exactly, and I mean that was the other thing is like before I started this podcast, me and Laughing were talking about like stories and stuff like that, and how it's so hard to be able to do it. So I wanted to, the actual original idea to this podcast was to bring about the dungeons, like the lore, the mechanics, and then the story. And then when I started going into it, I was looking at the storylines, and it's like, wait, I can tell you the story that I'll see on my end, but that might not be the same story that you see on your end, because there's outside influences. If you've done this quest, it'll give you this line. If you've done that quest, it'll give you another line. Like, so I was like, crap, I can't even do that, because some people are gonna be like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense because this is actually what I read and it's completely different. I mean, it's not game changing or game breaking when it comes to that, but it was like there was just so many different options that it raised a complete and utter rabbit hole to try and actually come up with the story for you guys, unless I actually wrote every single line that I had in my dungeon experience.
No, just consider it a dragon break. It'll be perfectly fine.
I mean, isn't that what this game is? Ah, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Whoops.
Laughing, saying the same thing. That's fine, because dragon break. He's totally agreeing with us, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Oh boy. All right. Well, We got a few more things to touch base on with the Stone Garden Dungeon preview. We're already like 40 minutes into the show.
Don't you regret having me here now? You get nowhere.
No, I don't. Honestly, this is going to make for the more compelling content. It's going to make for more of a two-sided look at things. I mean, I look at it from one aspect, and that's my aspect, and everybody's going to look at it differently. Everybody does. And, you being able to bring your experiences from the game since closed beta. I've only been playing since December. So I don't know nearly as much about the mechanics of this game, how this game works. Like you and I were talking builds last night, and, with the Clash changes coming up and the Munda Stone changes coming up, we're like, oh, hey, what is actually going to change with the meta, so to say. And you were popping out numbers. And I mean, I wish I could understand those numbers. I still don't understand the two numbers that you were throwing out, but hey, I'll get there one day.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think more people in the community need to understand it at that level. It's actually, at least a step up from just I go on and get the build. I think it's better for the community's health, like in build health, if you're not relying on just a couple people to do it. Especially PvP, because I think they're just going to cheese you on purpose. But that's besides the point.
Exactly. So moving forward with the Stone Dungeon preview, so Monsters Empowered is the headline here. So guarding Arcesis and his laboratory, is a monstrous host twisted by their master's dark science, including ambitious apprentices. Wow, words. Jesus Christ, Kinara.
Words are hard, man.
Oh my god, I'm failing. It's getting hot. So ambitious apprentices, colossal stone husks, and savage werewolves are all alchemically empowered. So to best the monstrosities of the Stone Garden, you must make use of Arcesis' own creations against him and become a monster yourself. So this is that alchemical potion that I was telling you about that makes you as Laughing in chat said, mega werewolf. So when you become the mega werewolf, you actually get a different set of skills to use. Very similar to morphing into a werewolf yourself.
I find it funny. I did my little maniacal laughter thing, and at the very bottom of the thing says maniacal laughter guaranteed. That's awesome.
Pretty much, right? So the nice part about this, guys, is if you are a vampire, it doesn't stop you from using the potion, so you can still participate in the mechanic. You're an abomination. That's awesome. Yeah, so you'll become a werewolf vampire, and I mean, isn't that what they are in the trailer? Aren't there like vampire style werewolves or werewolves being made by vampires or something like that in the grand scheme of things? I'm not entirely sure, but it's like they were trying to do like a hybrid making build of some sort. But anyway, so players can experience this transformation and wield its power firsthand as they battle their way through the Stone Garden. So in addition to these unnatural defenders, Stone Garden has a unique twist. It features the 3 boss battles, each of them having their own hard mode, as we had discussed earlier. So we have heard from players that they would like another level of difficulty within dungeons to challenge themselves. So in reviewing the Sunspire and Kyne's Aegis trials and how well those were received, they decided that this would be a good opportunity to do this in the dungeons as well. So as a result, Stone Garden will be the very first ESO dungeon with an activatable hard mode for each boss. In challenging your team this way, you'll receive greater rewards, which, I mean, obviously, you do anyway with the hard modes. And you must complete each hard mode in succession in order to face Arcesis himself in the hard mode as well. So, as with the trials, this allows you and your team to tailor the difficulty of your experience at will. And of course, if you find a boss is too challenging in hard mode, you can always fight them at their base difficulty too. So an interesting thing is with the new way of activating the hard mode is you will always know if hard mode is activated. Before, you got the blinding light that sometimes didn't work for you, so you didn't even actually know if it was activated or not unless you were the one that activated it. So they've got a new way of showing you whether hard mode is activated or not, and I think it changes depending on the dungeon. I believe this one is actually a banner or a brazier. Brazier, that sounds more right, where they're actually lit to tell you whether it's actually activated or not. So That's pretty cool. They're definitely trying to, change a few things. Because, I mean, the old hard mode was broken. Sometimes you didn't get that splitting headache in the white screen, so.
I just like the fact that they're upping the difficulty.
Yep.
Just, it intrigues me. See, this is probably something that would make me come back and be like, all right, I want to do it at least once. You got me back.
Well, I'm hoping that eventually, with doing the podcast, it'll intrigue you enough to come back so that you can continue playing. Because, I mean, the game is changing. And, we'll see if it gets it. We'll see how it gets better. They've got performance updates again coming out. Again, we talked about a little bit about the Cyrodiil changes to help with that, but
that'll be the big one that actually will determine whether or not I come back to to test it out. Because if they could get Grey Host playable, and they don't butcher the way that the game is played, I would love to play in Cyrodiil with that many players and be able to play the game. And
yeah.
If that were to happen, I'd be back for PvP and, some PvE on the side and all of this stuff. Like, you definitely see me more often. Right now, it's just hard to be on, like the lesser populated campaign and getting my face kicked in by the same group of people who got tired of getting their faces kicked in, so they bring in all their numbers.
Exactly.
I'm not upset, I swear. I'm gonna stab him in the face.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would just love to be able to go into a trial without getting 20 frames per second and missing mechanics and dying because of it. So that'll be nice. It would just be very,
honestly,
very nice.
With this kind of changes to content, even on the PvE side, that might get me more because I do like PvE and I like, I like challenging PvE. I don't like trials are a pain because I'm not a fan of getting that many people together on a regular basis. I'm not a fan of trying to have, work with coordinating people, at that level. Small group of 4 going into a dungeon that's just a pain in the ass and that sense of accomplishment. That's what I want. I want to be able to go in there and know it took 4 days to do it. And it just like that when finally that last boss dies, you're just like, yes!
Yep.
Yes! That's what I miss. That rush, that sense of like that, the joy. I miss it. And outside of White Gold Tower on release, on like that planar inhibitor vet mode, and clearing that, there hasn't been a single dungeon in the game since that's done it for me at all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I hear you there. Yeah, the performance updates need to definitely help because, like, I hear you. For me, like I said, as a streamer especially, having to, go into a trial and let people kind of see how the trial goes and, getting that stuttering effect on my stream. That's not the stream buffering. That's what I'm seeing every day. And everyone's like, oh, it's probably because of add-ons. Well, I'll tell you something right now. I did a test. I have a brand new character. I had every single add-on off. Every single one of them. I stepped into Somerset, and I watched my FPS drop down to 40. Okay? I then logged back on to my Magsork, which is my main. Turned all of the add-ons I use on a daily basis. I watched my FPS drop to 40. So it's not my add-ons. Tell you right now, my add-ons are not creating a problem. So it would just be very, very nice to have a little bit more of a stable game. But I mean,
in all honesty, I've gone through several PC upgrades. I'm kind of a PC whore. It's just the nature of who I am. So I've upgraded. I've gone through video cards since the game's release, and it hasn't changed. It's an optimization on their side. It's without a doubt that's the case. I've had graphic card upgrade. I was literally at one point running Twin Titans inside this PC. I know that doesn't really help a Twin. I use that mainly more for the rendering power. But I'm upgrading from like old 6950 Radeon cards. It's drastically more powerful, but it still stayed low.
For me, like, I'm running a 2600X Ryzen 5, so it's, second gen, not third gen. I got it for a very good price, but I mean, it's still got a 3.8 gigahertz clock speed and 12 core, 6 core with multi-thread. Like, so my CPU is definitely not the issue. My GPU is a 1660 Ti overclock from MSI. Definitely not the issue because it plays Final Fantasy 14, and I mean, I'm sorry for bringing that up again, but I can play that one at higher than what my monitor refresh rate is.
You son of a bitch. Final Fantasy 14, you dirty. You're dirty.
Hey man, I spent 8 years of my life on that game.
Well, I mean, honestly, the difference though, here's the thing, and I can even compare. I have my machine over here, to my right. That's my main rig. It's packed to the gills, Twin Titan.
Yep.
The machine to my left, GTX 1060. Similar frame rates, and they're both pushing 3440 by 1440.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, exactly. Anyways, let's not knock ESO. Again, at the end of the day, ESO is a great game, and when it works, it works. But yeah, there's just some things that they need to fix, and they're working on it, and that's what I'm.
When you're here long enough, that's when those things start to get to you. Because anybody else that kind of sits down and starts to experience it, unless they're really super snobby, they'll sit down and they'll see the game for what it is. Beautiful, a lot of possibilities, housing, just the amount of questing and story that they've presented. They'll see that. But when you're here for an extended period of time and you start to get into either the semi-competitive, or just when it's like you're starting to look at numbers or like you start to see it, and that's when it starts to kind of take away. I mean, I can still overlook it if, let's say PvE, it's not as I can overlook it even in if it stutters for a moment. If it's entertaining, if it can hold my attention, I can overlook it. PvP's not there anymore because it's just I lost the interest because I want to play in the bigger battles and you can't.
Yeah.
So that's where that's gone. But PvE, I can overlook it if the content's interesting.
Yep. Exactly. So, all right. Yeah. Like I said, let's not continue going on that because we could go on, performance problems for hours.
I'm sorry, Zos. I love you. Don't hurt me.
Yeah. Don't.
Just fix your game, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Pretty much. So. Should you and your group descend into the Stone Garden and face Arceus' terrible creations, you'll uncover some unique rewards found only in this dungeon. Obviously, there's going to be gear sets, a monster mask, collectibles, as well as, its array of achievements. So we're going to go over one of these. I know that we usually do gear sets at the end, but this one is part of the preview, so we're going to go over the Kraglin's Howl medium set. So medium,
which, by the way, looks awesome.
I 100% agree. I love that staff. Too bad it's I
like the greatsword. I think that's pretty cool.
That reminds me of the orcs from orcs. Yes, the orcs from Lord of the Rings. Those swords that they carry. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just it's the drawing, but I mean, I like that. That looks nice.
Love it. The helmet. It's like a Dragonborn helmet almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wear helmets normally on my characters, but I honestly, I mean, for the rest of the gear, it looks pretty nice. I like that it's not overdone. I mean,
it's a nice medium set. However, this poor lady's midsection is not covered very well. I would assume
leather is leather. I mean, it is.
Yeah, true enough.
Leather does pretty good, and depending on what she gets underneath it, I mean, it'll work. I mean, it's not going to be good against anything that's going to pierce and some slash and stuff, but leather.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't even say the midsection, because I mean, in technicality, you could extend that to if she gets chopped in the boob, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the greatsword that somebody else is going to be wielding, and that's going to hit you.
Can you imagine if they hit you? Look at the sharp side has a hook on the end. Good God.
Oh, that could be fun though. I mean, visually, I don't know, the battles, if you actually were to beyond the concept of the game where it's just slash, combat would be interesting if you had somebody who could really wield that thing and then just whack, and then like maneuver you with that thing. It's just like you're getting manhandled by the greatsword.
Yep. Slice you, hook you, take you right down to the knee to the jaw. It'd be some pretty menacing stuff. So, the 5-piece item bonuses. Let's go over those quickly. 2 items adds 833 weapon critical. 3 adds 129 stamina recovery. And the 4th item adds 129 weapon damage. And, last but not least, the 5th piece bonus. After an enemy you've recently damaged dies, you let out a howl, granting 3 allies within 15 meters the Heed the Call synergy. Now, activating the synergy will give you and the activator 12 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds. Now, what I want to say before we go into dive into this a little bit is I've been noticing that a lot of the newer sets that they've been coming out have actually been giving off synergies, which I think is super cool. They have another one that's the Blood Satius set, I think it is, where with your 5th piece item set, depending on what you do, it'll proc another synergy, which actually allows you to group heal. So I think some of these newer sets that they're coming out with are very, very cool with the fact that they're giving synergies. But I think that's what they're trying to steer towards, because instead of a proc, so in this case it would be, oh hey, you granting 3 allies within 15 meters a proc chance. So I think that's why they're trying to steer towards the synergies more so than anything.
No, yeah, because they're trying the proc chances calculations. It's they're moving away from that for a few reasons. One, it's just not as reliable anyway, and 2, because of the calculations. It's sitting there doing the random number generating. So this is just, you activate it on demand. I just feel bad because at some point with all the freaking synergies that are going to be going off, you're going to need the add-on that organizes them. Like, what is your priority synergies is, inside of a group, especially let's say a trial. I mean, I could see that being interesting to have as somebody in there. It helps generate and get a little closer to an ulti going off,
Like for this one, it's definitely something that you don't want to stack with 2 people. Like, it's definitely one person should be wearing this if they're going to use it. If it's even viable. Like, it looks pretty damn viable for a STAM class.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the basic normal, 2, 3, 4. And it could be interesting, I guess, honestly, even in like the concept of a PvP setup, because of how cheap things like Dawnbreaker generally are. If you activate that and somebody else, it reloads you very, very quickly into a Dawnbreaker. It's cheap as hell.
I can
so
imagine.
Get a stand build, you can make up a 5th, the difference of a 5th line very easily, and repeated ultis going off really quickly, and you add in combat frenzy from the Alliance War, tree. You're generating ulti just, so it's just Dawnbreaker. Your guy dies, Dawnbreaker.
Yeah. Well, it's like you look at Sorks. Sorks generate ulti like in mad. Can you imagine putting this on a Stam Sork?
Yeah, you also factor in that they basically Sork has the ability to stamp Stork, whatever.
Close enough. Hey, it works. Stork.
They already get the fact that they get their ulti cost cut because of passive, so their ultis are cheaper to begin with. So you just boom, it goes off. Onslaught.
I can see a lot of Stam Sorks running this, and honestly, I think I might actually make a Stam Sork to try it out.
Yeah, but it's obviously, I would say it would be small group play though. I mean, it's you definitely would want that, and I would think it would be one person essentially, as long as it's as long as you damage them. I mean, you poke them once, just there we go. Everybody gets the benefit. You do well-timed multi-dumps on people with a small group, a couple Dawnbreakers or an Onslaught into a Dawnbreaker, and some guy just activates it.
Can you imagine what this would be like in PvP too? Ultimate? Fuck, ulti dumps for days.
Well, honestly, it depends on how they rework it. I mean, in the current meta, it would have been disgusting to begin with, with a group, because basically you get one guy that activates it, and it's 12. And then I have a question though, because now it has me thinking about another question, and it would be worth the test. Because let's say you activate, is that damage? I believe. Let me just double check myself real fast.
While you're doing that, we're going to go over what they've got on the write-up for this. So this set is ideal for aggressive players who not only want to cast ultimates for themselves, but also wish to provide additional support for their teammates, explains Nadav Pechthold, one of Zos's combat designers. With this set, you can lead your pack on a successful hunt. So in addition to this unique set and two others, the Stone Garden also has a new monster mask called Stone Husk, which when combined with its shoulders can allow your heavy attacks to create a damaging tether that also boosts your weapon damage. Stone Husks adds a mini-game-like experience when positioning your character to maximize the damage, and stack generations is key. When used by a savvy player, it will both dish out AoE damage and provide up to 450 weapon damage. Ooh. Wow. Aside from these powerful items, you can also earn some dungeon-specific collectibles such as the mostly stable juggling potions momentum. There's only one B there, Kinara. God dang it, man. Words.
I think you're trying to hurt people too. I'm gonna stab him. Stabble.
Yeah.
Are you feeling stabble right now?
Stabby stab juggling potions.
I swear I'm mentally stabble.
Oh boy. Nope, Kinara is definitely not stable. Or stable for that matter. So the mostly stable juggling potions can be earned by completing the dungeon on veteran difficulty or the true genius title. Finally, all of Tamriel shall recognize your superiority. Oh god. Winters is coming back just to get this title. Oh, there's that maniacal laughter that we both got again. Earned by completing the dungeon on the veteran hard mode, all 3 bosses, with no deaths and under 20 minutes. Holy fuck. Good god. That's gonna be the title to get. All 3 bosses on hard mode with no deaths and under 20 minutes. Oh, I want to put a bet down now. How long do you think it's going to take for the very first Dungeon Pro group to get this?
It depends, because if it drops and it's got a similar difficulty and how it works with, let's say, White Gold when it dropped, and they overdid it.
Like, oh, yeah, they did.
It could take, it depends on how hard it is. I mean, if they make it hard, it's going to be, it could be a week, and I think that's a great struggle, But and I think that's what should be for like the best of groups, But if they don't do it, I mean, you're going to see it drop in, I don't know, a day. I mean, there are groups that I remember when Sunspire dropped, they were like they had that thing cleared in a day on the hard modes. It's like,
You know what I would like to also see going forward? If they're going to introduce the hard mode to every single boss, I would like to see a Dungeons leaderboard. I think that would be a neat idea to see how people are stacking up when it comes to the dungeons for score runs.
Yeah, I think, Dungeon leaderboard is something that adds a certain bit of competitiveness to it, and I think that's a good thing. I think at the same time, and just to tie in, because I'm a PvP biased son of a bitch, at the same time, they should bring back the PvE buff system that I believe I told you about, like that it used to exist outside of Cyrodiil if you had the campaign. So it made people participate, or at least, it gave them an interest, some of the people. I mean, the idea was you home there, and if you control more of the map, you get more buffs.
Yep.
You had to have an investment in it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
Whatever the mad alchemist Arcasis is cooking up in his dark laboratory, it's sure to spell doom for the people of Western Skyrim. Get ready to enter the Stone Garden, battle your way through the mad alchemist's empowered minions, and put a stop to his dread experiments before it's too late. Let us know if you're excited to check out this new Dark Heart of Skyrim dungeon and story via TES Online on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Guys, again, I know we covered this a little bit last week with the Crown Store Showcase, but guess what? Stonethorn is just around the corner. We are talking August 24th, which is 9 days away from today. So not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. It will be available for PC, Mac, and Stadia. and 1 week later for Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Man, this year is just going by.
I know. You know what? I'm glad. I'm happy. 2020 needs to just go away, and it should be the year that never existed, and next year should be 2020. No, I think we just need a reset.
I could understand that.
Quickly before we move on, I was reading in the PTS notes that they are dropping the update 28 prologue quest, or have already dropped the update 28 prologue quest for the Dark Storm DLC, which will be coming out in the last quarter there. So guys, if you guys are on part of the PTS, go ahead and give that a check out, because yeah, we are already almost Q4. We're almost at the end of the year-long adventure already, so I'm so excited to see what they have in store for the next year long. It'll be
I'm definitely curious to see what happens with that.
It'll be interesting to say the least.
I can't wait to see the data mine. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Right? No.
Somebody's it's gonna be out there.
All right. Yeah. Much. All right, guys. It is time for an Acolyte's Corner.
Yes, teach me, because I have no freaking clue since I haven't been around since before this thing overall dropped.
Right.
Teach me the ways of the shovel.
So, the Antiquity system is a new in-game activity included with the Greymoor chapter. It allows you to scry the location of Tamriel's hidden relics and treasures and then excavate them. By participating in the Antiquities system, you can earn rewards including collectibles, furnishing mounts and more, and riches. Plus, you can even uncover the region's secret histories and lore. So, quickly recap there. Every time you dig up a lead, it will give you a piece of lore about, that piece, or where that piece's origins are from, or the race of the specific piece, up to 3 times. So every time you find it, each time you find it, up to the 3rd time you find it, you will get a new piece of lore on a little scroll. Like, it literally is like a scroll. It's kind of neat. So, to begin your journey into Tamriel's hidden histories, you must visit the Antiquarian Circle in the City of Solitude in Western Skyrim. Yes, unfortunately, if you do not have Greymoor, you cannot participate in the actual digging of the actual activity of dealing of words. You cannot participate in the actual scrying and digging of these antiquities.
That would be me. I'm not worthy of my shovel.
You haven't gotten great. You didn't even buy Greymoor?
I'm a lazy bastard. Well, I'm a cheap bastard.
Buddy. Wow, buddy. You're just waiting for the sale to go on, aren't you?
For something. Let me take it this way. I'm bad. I anticipate the day I'll return. I literally bought the freaking Azura's statue thing that I told you I liked.
Yeah. You know what pisses me off about that? I get paid the same day it comes out. Here's the problem. I get paid at the end of the day that it goes away. And it goes away at 10 a.m. that day.
That sucks. Yeah.
Yep.
I just picked it up because I saw it was 2 days. I was like, oh, gotta get this because I like it. And then I realized because my ESO Plus isn't active anymore, I paid a little extra. I'm like, that's not a problem. I can't put it down in my house because I don't have the doubled up furnishings.
Oh, right, because you can't actually move anything because it's actually telling you have too much space taken up.
Yep. I'm like, all right, it stays in inventory until I do return.
Pretty much. All right, guys. So, like I said, to begin the Antiquarian's Circle quest, so that you can do the leads, you want to speak to Verita Numida. Guys, stop recycling words. That's almost like Numidia. Anyways,
Yeah. The same thing. I was like, you're gonna talk to the Numidium?
yeah, right? It is right next to the Bard's College. Yes, the Bard's College. I don't know if that's an Easter egg or not as to whether we're going to get the Baldur's skill line or not, but it is there. Anyways, before we get into too much speculation and make this episode draw out for like 4 hours, let's
The
continue.
true Easter egg to a bard skill is going to be that Scald's garb.
Right?
It's going to be a skill line to woo the ladies.
Yeah, between the Bard's College and that freaking outfit that dropped off the store yesterday, by the way, so hopefully everybody got it if they wanted it.
Nope, I guess I'm not going to rock the garb.
Me neither. I thought it was going on for a little bit longer. And the worst part is Winters, you and I have no excuse. We covered this last week. We knew when it was
I was going to say the same thing. I almost missed the Asura statue. If it wasn't for Zahir inside of the Discord mentioning, I was like, oh, okay, cool. 2 days. Oh, damn.
I'm contemplating whether I'm pulling it out of my savings account or not, to be honest. So that I can get it, because I really, really want it. So I might do it. So Verita Numida is going to give you the Antiquarian's Eye tool, which is the tool that you're going to need to do all your scrying. It's going to give you a tutorial quest and some basic leads. The tutorial quest is going to tell you how to do the basic functions. Going to give you a complete idea as to how the new system works, but you can begin to find antiquities as soon as you finish that quest. So what are leads? They're basically hints, tips, and clues that allow you to begin searching for a new antiquity in a certain zone. To view these leads, you click on your journal, which is usually J on PC, and then you will find the Antiquities Codex section. It'll look like a little eye with a circle around it, kind of. Easiest way to describe it.
The leads are specific to zone. It's not random, like entirely random. It's you go to a particular zone to search it out.
Yes, exactly. And
now,
it'll give you a list.
Is it entirely for that, like one zone for the item, or is it multi-zone?
So basically, each zone has its share of items. So, like, in my case, here let's quickly give you a rundown. The Snow Prince's Throne can only be found in Western Skyrim. Makes sense because snow elves were in Western Skyrim. How's it going, Key? Sorry about that. Didn't see your message until just now.
Just popped up, so
perfect.
We didn't.
So yeah, things like the Stone Throne, this Snow Elf, Snow Prince's Throne would be in Western Skyrim. There is, I mean, that's the only that's the actual only comparison I can give you right now because I'm off the top of my head. But each zone will have one green lead. So Craigorn, Western Skyrim, Somerset, Oridon, they all have your first green lead is free for every zone. You can scry those leads pretty much everywhere. However, it will tell you once we get down farther into it, it will show you, it'll basically, once you've scried it, if you get all the 6 symbols, it will show you on the map where to find it. So inside the Antiquarians or the Antiquities Codex, it will tell you which ones you have available for scrying, whether it's green, blue, purple, orange, or gold. When you start out, you are only able to scry the green ones. Once you start leveling, then you'll be able to go to the blues, the purples, yada yada yada.
Oh, so it's got a full-on skill line.
Yep. I believe it's 30, give or take 30 skill points that's going to be needed to fully level this. Yeah,
I got a lot of work with Kayla to do that when I come back. That's going to be ugly.
yeah, just a little bit. I have got mine all the way up to level 8, fully leveled or fully skilled out at level 8 on an alt, which I have decided that is not going to be the same as my crafter because, well, my crafter needs all the experience points it can get for its skill crafting, which is also, funnily enough, my Meg Sork, which is my main. So yeah, it's already very, very close to not having enough skill points to even do all of that.
Yeah, Michaela, my Magicka Sork, who has been my main forever, is all of my crafting, So she will do the antiquities if/when I return. But I also
Not
PvP
if,
with
when.
her. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, when it comes down to it, is I PvP with her, I PvE with her, and she's my crafter. So points are gonna be rough.
Yep, I hear ya. However, you do get quite a crap ton of sky shards, so yeah. Anyways, so how do I get leads? That is the question. So basically, by exploring zones. Honestly, the best system they could have possibly thought of. Because what is the biggest thing about an MMO? They make a zone, people finish the zone, they never go back to it. So how do they get people back into the zone that they spent all this time and development process on? This Antiquarian Circle, the antiquity system, basically funnels you back into different zones, which will then, in turn, if you haven't finished, points of interest or this or that, or sky shards, it's funneling you back in. So once you join the Antiquarian Circle, like I said, you'll receive a bunch of leads automatically for antiquities all over Tamriel. 1 green per zone. Also, key, seeing as you are here, I know that you on stream one day were trying to do the antiquity system and we're having a little bit of a struggle. So I hope you stick around to listen to this one, because this one will give you kind of a rough idea on how it all works. So what you would do is you would basically scry each one of those green leads. Now, the green lead will usually, almost always, if not always, give you a blue lead. Blue lead is guaranteed. You can only hold 1 blue lead at a time per zone. So, scry the green, you go dig up the green, you get the blue.
So you grind your way through
Mm-hmm.
each one. So,
yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, you can do both green and blues pretty much right away. Blues are a little bit harder on a lower level, obviously. So the more you level it up, it'll obviously be easier. So ways to find leads. They drop from monsters, treasure chests, and you can even buy them from some vendors, as well as quests, dungeons, the whole 9 yards. Like, pretty much anything you do in this game can potentially drop a lead, including thieves' troves, Sigic portals.
Are they tradable? So they're tradable too? Is it
Nope.
something that you can? No, it is
Nope.
Specific to. Okay.
100% specifically to you. Everything you pick up for a lead, everything you dig up from the excavation site cannot be traded, but it can be sold. But it cannot be sold on the market. That makes sense?
Okay.
So, however, the stuff you find, I mean, let's put this in perspective. One day, I needed 75,000 gold to get myself to a point where I could buy the Mournhold Keep. Okay, I needed 75k. Took me all of an hour and a half to make 75k, and that was going at it casually.
Damn. Okay.
So it's if you know how to do the lead, if you learn how to do this very quickly, it's very, very easy to make money with it. I know people that have made 100k in 30 minutes.
Laughing. That was you, wasn't it?
Laughing? How many? Okay, actually, speaking of which, if Laughing is still in chat, how many Rings of the Wild Hunt do you have? I think he said 18. Which,
Damn.
by the way, Ring of the Wild Hunt is a mythic piece of gear. It's a 1-piece item bonus. I believe the Wild Hunt ring gives you better speed, which for crafters doing their writs every day makes it a little bit faster because it gives you a faster movement speed.
See that's something that's used inside of Cyrodiil as well. Oh god.
Yeah.
So
Now,
people need more speed.
right now, here is the issue I have with the lead system: is the leads you acquire via the in-game activities expire after 30 days. The reason that I have a problem with this is there is no physical way in-game without an add-on to tell you how long that lead is still going to be active for. The other problem I have is this is legitimately pushing people who do not have the Greymoor expansion to buy their game. I'm sorry, but this is very much a pay to. I know they've gone. This model of the antiquities has basically said it's basically a pay to win system, in my eyes. You cannot do it without buying Greymoor. This game has never been a pay to win or pay to play game. You could always play it for free, other than buying the expansions.
Yeah, if you just got the base game, which you can a lot of times you can get either extremely super cheap, but yeah, I mean, I think even then, yeah, I mean, even jewelry crafting was something that you can go around because you were able to get somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is it's not something you can have somebody else do. So yeah, I mean, technically, if you wanted the sets, the bonuses and the different mythic, whatever these mythic items are, yeah, it does kind of force you into doing it. In comparison to like even the other previous expansions. I mean, the other ones were like, okay, if you want this class, but you didn't need the class. I mean, I guess you don't need the item sets, and if Necromancer, when it first dropped, was, OP as hell, which, but, I mean, you could work your way around that. I mean, if there was a really good set, which, I mean, for PvP, you'd have more of those types of sets, that movement speed bonus. Even sounds really good, even like, let's say, for like a healer, or even like a very quick stamina build that likes to play the tower game. That would be something you'd want to have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, that's the only issue I have. Unfortunately for me, I mean, I love this game so much. I bought Greymoor way before it was. As soon as they said, "Hey, it's on for pre-order," I bought it. And that was only like 3 weeks after I started playing this game. That's how much I fell in love with the game when I first started playing. However, just because they expire after 30 days does not mean that you can't acquire them again at a later date. So,
see, actually, that still kind of bothers me, the fact that it expires. And that's because, you know what? If you're like me, you play, you gathered it all up, you really did the grind, but you're just like, man, I need a break. Real life hits. And you step away, you come back, that work is.
Yep.
I like the fact that for the most part, ESO was always the idea of I could come back and kind of pick up right where I left off.
Yes.
That there wasn't a drastic shift in, like, I mean, I could go out a year later in PvP or PvE and still be okay. But if to have stuff that I worked hard to get just kind of goes, meh, do it again.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And that's, like I said, that's where I have a small issue with that system. But I mean, at the end of the day, without people paying money for this game, the game would not be able to improve. So I mean, I'm kind of the devil's advocate there. I'm playing kind of both ends of a double-edged sword. Yes, it's nice that it's free to play, but it's also nice that ZOS has the money to be able to update the game, create the performance updates like they have been, continue creating content on an aggressive release schedule, and all of that. Yes,
I will knock that at all.
Yes, at the end of the day, their performance updates are, sometimes helping, sometimes not helping, but it's still nice.
There's been performance updates? When? Where?
They're coming slowly but surely. Hey, look at that.
I've heard that.
When we had to re-download the game, they were able. I mean, this isn't much of a performance update, but the way it's stored in our hard drive is much better. Instead of a million gigs, it's now 500,000 gigs. I mean, we're getting a little off track there, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that they need to make money, and I know they need to make, they have to pay people salaries and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I've supported the game. I've purchased crowns. I've purchased items for other people. I've
Yep.
done the ESO plus. It's most of the time I feel that it's worth the money to do that and to show the support. And the game's been a pleasant experience for the most part. I mean, so I don't knock that, and I don't.
Mhm.
I mean, eventually I'll sit down, and when I feel I want to sit down and play a game, I'll purchase, either the previous DLC or the expansion, or by the time I get back, I might be getting the next one. Who knows?
Yeah. Exactly, right? All right, so guys, what is scrying? So scrying is one of the 2 mini games that they have released with this. So yes, there is mini games, and they are kind of fun. I will say that. So scrying is the process of unlocking the secrets hidden within a lead, allowing you to discover the antiquities dig sites in a zone. So you use this little relic, that thing that you pick up as soon as you talk to Verda Numida. You pick up this little circle thing, and it's called the Antiquarian's Eye, and that is what you use to play the game. So, how do you scry a lead? You scry a lead by accessing the Antiquities Codex via your journal. So you'll go into your journal, click on the Antiquarian's Eye circle little icon, and you're gonna find which one you want to scry. You hit E, and now you're inside the eye doing the scrying. So basically, the Antiquarian's Eye is used to expand your consciousness across a board to claim facets. It's basically... What's the easiest way to describe this? You're basically wanting to make a path by clicking on the biggest group of foci, or in this case, every little tile that's on there is called a foci. You're going to click on that. So if you have a group of 10, you'll click on that group of 10, and hopefully that one will shoot up to one of the glowing facets. So as you're expanding your skill lines, you'll get different skills that allow you to create group clusters of one specific symbol. It'll allow you to create a line up to 4 that will get you closer to another symbol that you want to get. So there's quite a few different skills that'll help you make this a lot easier, because as you level up, and the between the green, the blue, the purple, the gold, and the oranges, the scrying actually gets harder. So more symbols will show up. Less clusters will be available. You'll have to try and figure out a way to make those clusters work.
So I laugh because at first I'm thinking reverse minesweeper, where you're aiming to hit the mine.
That is more the digging side of it.
Oh God, there's digging.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's digging. That's the excavation side. We're coming up to that after we talk about the scrying. So yeah. So basically, it's so the scrying is a board. You have a bunch of symbols. You want to try and basically, you can click one, but you only have so many turns. So you're gonna want to try, in the least amount of moves, get to the 6 different glowing tiles, also known as facets. So you'll begin in the bottom center of the board, and by selecting the adjacent cells, you expand your control. I'm actually trying to think of a mini game a game I've played that's something similar to this. But I'm pretty sure you guys kind of get the idea. So if the facet you select has other adjacent facets of the same type, so symbols, we'll call facets symbols to make it a little easier. You get to claim those as well. So let's say in this case, you start at the bottom center of this thing, and you have right above it is a star. That's the easiest way to do this. And that star has another star adjacent to it. And then the adjacent star has another star adjacent to it. You'll get to take all 3 of those. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yep. So then what you'll do is then you will want to, let's say, so here's the thing. So now the next, say that third star is surrounded by an octagon. and there's 4 or 5 octagon in that area. Now you can select that, and everything will turn into an octagon. Does that make sense? So just
and I'm
because
with you. I mean, a lot of this is going to be a visual thing, but
yeah,
I'm kind of.
So basically, it's a connect the dots via symbols, and each time Virus. Have you ever played the game Virus?
Okay.
You start on one corner of the screen, and you have to encapsulate the entire screen with one color.
Okay.
Exactly
So
the
that's what
same as
it's-
this.
All right.
So yeah.
Now
So
I
if
kinda
you've
get
got a
you.
green, you're going to click the green button. If you've got 5 blue, you're going to click the blue button. It's exactly the same as this. Guys, if you've never played Virus, it's a mobile game you can get on your phones. And that is why I actually got really, really good at this game, is because I used to play Virus all the time. I know it sounds really bad. Hey, I'm getting you guys to download Virus, but it's actually a game. Oh, boy. Yeah, download Virus, guys. If you're total disclaimer, your phone gets a virus, it's not my fault.
It's a trap.
It's also called Fill by Color. There's a multitude of different names for it as well, but I call it Virus because that's the very first one I ever found. It is what it's called, Virus. So, anyways, so you do that, you get all 6 of the foci, and then it will show you a location on the map. If you get all 6, it'll tell you exactly in what area it is. If you get 5, it'll show you 2. I believe if you get 4, it'll show you 3 different areas. So your aim is to get all 6. Now here's the thing: if you don't get all 6, you can try again. Just because you only got 5 and it shows you 2 spots does not mean you have to go and look at both spots. You can actually physically rescry that item to try and get 6. So you can always get a better result. Or if you want to go and try and find them in both locations, by all means, you can do that. However, if you don't succeed the first time, try again. Pretty simple, right?
And then rage quit later.
Yes, exactly.
You could be like one of those people that sits there and just snaps your keyboard in half, like.
Exactly. So
I've never been one of those people.
I did that on Saturday. I don't know if you guys heard it in the stream, but I fucking slammed my hands down on my keyboard so hard I thought I was gonna break it. I was pissed. Anyways, what are the scrying abilities in the scrying skill line? So there is 3 different unique abilities that you can use while scrying: Coalescence, Dilation, and Farsight. So what are these? So Coalescence is a skill where it converts a hexagonal cluster of facets to match the central facet. So if you have a star in the middle of the board, you can try and basically take that. When you click on Coalescence, it'll show you kind of like a hexagonal area, and you can try and make as many of those symbols the same as the symbol that's probably, in my case, I try and, if I've got a star at the bottom center, I click on Coalescence and I try and find another batch of stars that will try and make it so that I can click that move, then hit the stars, and I get a burst of stars.
I think
Again,
you're biased.
Why?
Star fallen games. You aim for the stars.
You got me, fucker.
You will not outwit me, you son of a bitch. You have been busted.
I mean, if we want to get technical, Starfall on games, Hellraw Citadel, Starfall, Final Mechanic. Yeah, Kinara gets thrown at you a million and one times.
Dear God, nobody wants Kinara thrown at them, trust me.
Well, then don't go into VHRC and face the Starfall mechanic, because Kinara will get you with his sharp fucking cat GT claws. Anyways.
His fake faux Kajiti claws.
Hey,
Total
have you
beat.
seen my claws? They are the longest they can possibly get, man.
You are a
Anyways.
fake. You're a faux Khajiit. Don't hand me that
What?
garbage.
Because Kinara does not know how to roll his R's properly and talk in the proper Khajiiti accent? Like
Yes.
Zahir?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, do you
You're a
want
lie. You live a lie.
Kinara to continue to try to do this?
No,
the
not
whole
now.
podcast?
Time
Yeah,
is of
fuck
the
no.
essence.
Exactly. Anyway,
Progress.
the next scrying ability, Dilation. Claims all facets of the
However,
select-
I do challenge you. Next one, definitely try. I want to see that.
Oof. All right. Challenge accepted, my friend. Claims all facets of the select type that touch your area of control and any matching adjacent facets. I don't know how this one works, to be honest. I don't use it. However, it's basically if you have an octagon instead of a star, because apparently I'm biased as fuck. If you have a octagon, so let's say you have a group of...
You're hearing it how you talk about it. Octagon, like you're already looking down on it.
Well, because I like stars. If you have a group of your symbols already selected, what you can do is with the dilation skill, if you have, say, an octagon on the outer border of the already selected symbols,
That's for you.
and let's say there's, a branch of these octagons that actually lead to a glowing symbol, the one that you're trying to get, and there's multiple other ones around adjacent to, like I said, the cluster that you've already opened, it will unlock all of the same symbols that you click on. So if you click on the octagon and there is 3 touching that one, it'll open those ones. And if there's any other octagons around the already claimed cluster that you have, they'll unlock those ones as well. Make sense?
Okay.
Last
Roger,
one
Dodger.
is... Sorry?
Roger Dodger.
Perfect. The last one is Farsight. This is basically... It claims a line of facets. I believe it starts with 2, then it goes to 4. Basically, from the cluster that you have, any adjacent tile you want to, you can select, and then you can move it in a straight line or diagonal line, as long as it's, a line, outwards towards one of the glowing symbols that you're trying to unlock. So that is your scrying abilities. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay.
When do we get to the digging?
We're just about there. So, last but not least, by using these abilities, now each of them uses a certain amount of, in this case, let's call it stamina. Just like sprinting for long periods of time uses stamina, each time you use one of these abilities, it uses a bar of your scrying stamina. It does not consume one of the turns. So you have a certain amount of turns that you can use to try and get all 6. Once you run out of turns, you have what you have. The nice part about these 3 skills is it does not use one of those turns. So using these to try and get as many of the symbols to be the same as possible is the name of the game here. And then just make your few clicks as necessary. Every time you claim any of the symbols, it gives you a half charge for your abilities. So as you're moving along the board, it will charge these up again, allowing you to use them. And as you start unlocking and using the abilities, you'll quickly discover them to be the powerful tools of divination that you're going to need to make the harder boards easier. And like I said, if you don't complete the scry elite, and you don't get all 6 symbols, then you can try it again. We won't go over that again. Now, digging. You guys all remember the classic Minesweeper? You want to try and not touch the bombs? Very similar, slightly modified. What you're going to do is, once you've scried your area, it's going to show you where on the map. You can then go to that area of the map, and you can use your Antiquarian's Eye to give you a compass-like direction to which way the dig site is. Once you've found the dig site, you can start digging. I mean, that's pretty much just that. You're going to explore the area, use your antiquarian's eye, find where it is, and dig. So now, it's time-based. Every time you use a skill or action, it's going to reduce the amount of time you have left to try the ability. The higher the level of your excavation skill line is, the less time it takes or the more powerful actions you have to do to find said items. So now, the excavation skill line, you automatically unlock both the auger ability and the handbrush. The auger is what helps you find roughly where in the dig site the antiquity is. So what you'll do is you'll click on the auger, which is shortcut R on your screen on PC, and then what I do is I click on the middle tile roughly, and it'll give you either a green, a yellow, an orange, or a red. If you're on green, you found one of the 5 to 8 spots that the antiquity is, so you'll want to start digging there. However, what I like to do is with the auger, because you have a certain amount of times to use it, you can then kind of try and go around the area to kind of find out which way the antiquity is situated. So once you've found where it is, then you can start using the handbrush to clear away your rocks or your dirt. However, if you get a yellow, that means that it is roughly within 2 squares of the place you clicked. So when you find a yellow, it'll actually show you a box kind of roughly around the area that it's not, or it could potentially be up to. So it can be just inside the box or just outside the box. If it's orange, it'll be a 3x3 square, and if it's red, it'll be nothing. Make sense?
Miss.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. Battleship. Kind of like Battleship.
I was about to say you sank my antiquity.
Yes. Oh, that's something you can do, actually, by the way. You dig too far down with a shovel, you can actually break the antiquity.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does. And then you have to, it'll give you another dig site right away, and then you can just go find the other dig site. But it does suck. All right, so the auger, which helps you sense where in the dirt the item might be. The handbrush helps you clear away the small amount of dirt. And it enables you to use the trowel and heavy shovel by generating intuition. Every click charges a bar once you have unlocked these abilities. The trowel will clear away whole layers of dirt in a single cell. So if you have, I believe it's, the first one is 2 layers. The next one, when you upgrade it, I think is 4. Don't quote me on that. I'm going off of memory here. The last one is the heavy shovel, which clears away a small amount of dirt from a large area. It's a 3x3 square again. If you fail to dig up an item by running out of actions or by hitting it with a shovel, you'll just need to find the next dig site and try again. So, some of the rewards that you can find from the antiquity system are powerful mythic equipment, markings, adornments, and emotes, valuables you can sell to vendors worth over 300,000 gold in total, 3 new ancestral motifs, whichever way you want to call it. I think that motifs it's not spelled right for it, but whatever. Deadly new siege weapons called Magica Lances. Yes, Winters, you can get new siege weapons. A new mount.
Before I left, I did get to see what that was. It threw me off. I was sitting there, I think I logged into my AD character, and all I hear is, boom, 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 boom. What the f? And I see this thing going off, I'm like, what?
Oh boy. They've actually also introduced a new mount. It's the Ebon Dwarven Wolf mount. And, well, it's exactly what you think. It is a Dwemer-made mount. So it's all robotic and metal and pretty cool.
This I gotta see.
Yes, pull it up.
Wolf mount, that's got me.
It's pretty neat. It's a Dwemer wolf mount, basically. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be very robotic and kind of looks, yeah, pretty sweet. I want it. However, side note, it takes 17 fragments that you need to find in your Antiquities scrying to get, and then you have to scry those fragments, and then it will tell you where to scry for the mount. So it's not easy to get.
I'm sure, but I want it.
I do too. I've been working on it. I've so far only got one fragment.
Oof.
I do not spend as much time as it sounds with the antiquity system. It's more my first thing in the morning Saturdays when I'm drinking my coffee because I don't want to do battle.
I'm glad there was a follow-up with coffee, because it's like, the Saturday morning is what I'm drinking to get away from what I just experienced this past
Drinking
week.
the hard stuff. I didn't say my coffee wasn't laced with anything. Oh, wait. I'm not an alcoholic, I swear to God.
Yeah,
Ishii,
laced could be a few different things.
Ishii from stream the other night would hesitate to disagree because I was drinking rum and cokes, and then I accidentally banned him instead of permitting him to post a link. That was fun. I actually had to promote Kifurio actually there as a mod due to the fact that Ishii wasn't actually showing up on my stream as blocked.
Nice.
Right?
Banhammer.
Oh yeah, it was clipped. Yep, it's forever molded in history that I am an asshole of a streamer that bans people for no reason.
So not only do you kill deer, you banhammer people for absolutely no reason.
Yes.
You are drunk with power.
That's pretty much what I said. So on top of the new mount, you also get a ton of new furnishings, including antique maps, a music box, and more. That's what I was talking about, the Snow Prince throne earlier. All right, we're finally almost done. So, in addition to these rewards, each time you dig up an item, you also discover new lore surrounding that item. Like I said earlier, you get up to 3 different pieces of lore that you can read. Pretty cool. It kind of tells you about the history of the item, the history of the race that made it, anything really. So now, how do you make sure that every antiquity in the zone is uncovered? You can check a zone's progress from the Antiquities Codex section of your journal. So you'll go in and it'll tell you how many you found. 3 of 3 is your max. And it'll show you every single lead you have that is scribable, finished, not finished, all of that. So they're all there. As for new antiquities, these will be added as the team releases new zones. New zones means new antiquities, and antiquities, as I said earlier, Winters cannot be traded. With the exception of motif pages and bonus loot runes.
Oh.
Now, yeah, that is antiquities. Guys, I know that I kind of breezed over it a little bit. I tried to describe it the best I could when it came to the actual ability of doing it. Again, like Winter said, it is definitely going to be something that's more visual than me being able to tell you. But I kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of how it all went, the ins and outs, and the disadvantages and advantages. Disadvantage being, they expire. Advantage being, you can make a shit ton of gold.
And when you said that you can get, like, I guess the leads or whatever it's per zone, and there's a certain number, is that like a minimum thing, and then you can continuously keep looking and you can turn up items?
Yes.
And you can get multiple of those items?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So,
you can scry a green lead 1,000,000 times. Just once you've hit the 3rd line, you won't get any more lore. Same thing with the blues, same thing with the purples.
Okay, so that's just an achievement kind of esque thing, essentially. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not actually somehow of a limiting factor. You could just keep going to town and going to town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So now, Winters, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to let you start off with the class changes here while I go and use the restroom. I've been holding this.
Are we sure we want to do
this?
We're pushing the 2-hour mark at this point.
Holy crap. I mean, it's up to you, man. We can hold it off for another week. I did not expect the Antiquarian Circle to be a huge topic.
I honestly think that if, considering how we've been doing with topics, I think class changes and going and looking at the other stuff is probably going to be like another 2 hour shot. And
You're probably right.
and I think that that's something we could probably address straight up, other than obviously news.
Yep.
Because I mean that's it's almost acolyte corner kind of stuff outright, because it's learning, and that's an understanding of the game mechanics. I think in addition. So.
All right. For sure. Yeah, no, we can definitely leave that to next week because, yeah, you're right. I just noticed what time we were at. So, then, yeah, we can hold off here a little bit longer. Let's go over the gear sets then, I guess.
Maybe we could do a quick shot over on those.
For sure. All right, guys. So what we decided this week was to kind of go over some gear sets that were craftable. And not just craftable, but very, very helpful beginner gear sets. So I took a look and kind of went over a few different ones. I tried to find one for a Magicka build, a stamina build, and a tank build. So we went over the Julianos craftable set, which has a 2-item bonus of 833 spell critical, a 3-item bonus of 1096 maximum magicka, 4 items, which adds 833 spell critical, and 5 items, which adds 299 spell damage. Now, that's again, like I said, obviously a magicka-based set. Julianos is probably like the top starter set that I've ever seen.
It's even viable going into just being able to do even beyond store. I mean, as entry level for dungeons, it could still be viable. Even like, you could put out decent numbers with that. I mean, it's always been the case. And it's, if you can get somebody, you're able to craft it, it's good for, even the leveling purposes. You can get, some basic gear. It's very easy to have somebody do it for you. And overall, its stats are always been decent. I mean, when they first dropped it, it was one of the most sought after. People wanted to have that, jewelry crafted and all that other stuff later on. Just because it was so good. That spell damage at the end. Spell damage was like kind of king, except for Sork. Sork's always liked Max Magicka.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, without the likes of like crafty Alfiq and things like that before that. That set was just so good,
and that's why
it's still so good.
And that's why when you said, "Hey, let's go over good beginner craftable sets," I'm like, I know exactly which one's going to be at the top of this list, because honestly, any build you guys see, Zynode, Alcast, Azrael, Hack the Minotaur, almost everybody out there will tell you, what set do you want to start your game off with for leveling, for everything? That set right there, Julianos. So that's why.
I mean, there's a set I would tag in with that, just for some sustain. My combination for leveling gear is always Julianos and Seducer.
Yes.
Yep. Seducer is a great addition to Julianos, or I mean, now with like New Moon getting kicked, Julianos was always good though. I would,
Yep.
It's a trade-off between those two. New Moon and Julianos. I think that for those who don't have the sustain control, Julianos is always very good.
Agreed, 100%. So yeah, guys, if you guys know any, if you guys are obviously starting off a new character or first starting off in the game, find a person that is willing to craft you a basic Julianos set. And if they are, really generous, maybe they might even ask, you might even make it for you in a training set. By that I mean it's a trait that they can research for you that allows you to gain extra XP per piece that you have on, up to the maximum of 25%.
I don't remember the exact number to it, but
give or take 25%. And yeah, like I said, guys, it'll help you guys with, having your magicka kind of stay up where it needs to be, giving you a little bit of damage to help you, throughout the leveling process, especially in the overland, so that you're not, sitting there for hours upon end trying to kill, one monster that's chewing away at your health.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is being able to kill things is one. The faster you do it, less margin for error.
Yep.
And not to mention, I mean, just generally spell damage max magic. Your heals will be better and your damage will be better.
Yep.
And it's all driven off the same system. So
not to mention when you've got an experience scroll popped. Now, I would not suggest using an experience scroll in Overland because, I mean, the amount of XP you do get off a monster isn't that high on the Overland. But again, if you have an experience scroll on and you accidentally aggro a monster, the faster you can get away from that so that you can go to the zone that you're trying to get to, such as a dungeon or a world boss or whatever, the better, because now you're able to maximize the experience scroll that you have on. Next up,
it's all about time at that point. So
yeah, exactly. The faster you get to the place that's going to give you the most XP, going to help you, level your character a little faster. However, side note, if you are brand new to this game, I do not recommend that you guys actually take the speed leveling process. Enjoy the game. This game is not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not going to be gone in 2 weeks when you finally hit 50 or a month when you finally hit 50. Take your time, enjoy the stories, enjoy the game, and just level accordingly. But Juliana, like I said.
Yeah. I agree entirely with that whole statement. A lot of people, they get into the game and they just want to burn it out and get right up to the, to the max level and do that. It's like, it's defeating the whole purpose of what Elder Scrolls Online is. When you've done it all and then you just want to get that next character up, do that, experience, but experience the game without a doubt.
The thing about leveling in any MMO is learning how to use your skills effectively and at what point in a rotation that you would want to use those skills. So, faster you level,
not even just this, rotation, but sometimes it's just, getting an idea because they will introduce monsters and things like that. Mm-hmm. That'll start to give you the little bit of information as to what to expect on later mechanics. Like
exactly.
Yeah. How to avoid it.
You're only hurting yourself. And I mean, I'm not going to mention names, and I mean, if he ever calls me out for this, but, I actually went into a vet dungeon with a friend from another stream, and he wasn't leveled accordingly. He had literally gotten to level 50 in 5 days. Didn't understand the mechanics, didn't understand that he needed food, didn't understand that he needed potions. And he's like, yeah, I want to try my very first vet dungeon. I'm almost CP level 60. I'm like, perfect. You know what? Elden Hollow 2. We'll do a vet Elden Hollow 2. Not a big deal. I mean, yes, it's a bit of a DPS race. We'll get through it, no problems. Then I remembered I didn't bring the DPS. I brought the Stam DK that is still a work in progress and was only doing like 12k damage. So I kind of
cannot engaged carry mode.
Yeah, I kind of screwed both him and I over. We did end up getting it done at the end. I just really had to focus. Like when I focus on that, I can get like 17 or 18, but I had to make sure that I was hitting all the right buttons at all the right times. We did finally get the non-hard mode completed on Elden Hollow 2, which was unfortunate because that was the day that it was a pledge, so we still only got the one key. But you know what? He learned a lot from that. And then what I ended up doing is I ended up logging into my Stam Sork, or my Mag Sork, and kind of, because he was a Sork as well, and kind of showing him the ins and outs of how Sorks are good and what you should kind of, aim towards. And then I kind of, helped him with his skills a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to learn, and I think that not only are you doing, you're going to do yourself
no justice.
A good solid when you're doing yourself more justice in the sense of you're learning in the game, but also you have to factor in that not only is it going to be tough for you to do the things in the game, but then when you encounter people who see that you're doing this and they don't have the tolerance for it, you're gonna, when they start complaining at you, you're gonna think that this is the game, and you don't want that either.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there will be those that are like that.
Yep. So the next one up is Torig's Pact craftable set. Now the Torig's Pact, I actually just learned about this one a little bit yesterday. As far as I know, before it wasn't exactly. It was better for a medium set before than it is now. Now it's more of a tank set. But it 2 items adds 1487 armor, 3 items adds 1206 max health. 4 items adds 1487 armor, and then on the 5th item bonus, it decreases your weapon enchantment damage by 33% and increases non-oblivion damage enchantment potency by 45%.
It's the enchantment cooldown, by the way, not the damage.
Did I say damage cooldown? Oops.
You said the weapon enchantment damage dropped your its cooldown.
Oops.
So
enchantment cooldown.
Now,
yes.
That's now with the changes. So originally it used to have the spell damage on the front line, the number 2, which was great because if you wanted to squeeze in a 2-piece and you wanted an extra spell damage for like a Magicka user, you could cheese that one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good in that regard. Used to be. And it was always interesting because if you wanted to bang out the 5-piece, you can get that increase to the enchantment, whether it was damage or because it's not specific to damage on the enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it says increases non-oblivion damage enchantment potency, and the wording kind of makes you think, all right, fire, disease, it increases spell damage. It increases, all the other ones that you can put on it outside of oblivion damage.
Yeah.
And the reason they did that is because oblivion damage is basically, I think it outright bypasses resistance. So They didn't want you to get that free damage. But that was always another one that you could kind of squeeze in before they did the armor change on the second line.
Mm-hmm.
You could, if you really wanted to, you can get a little out of the 5-piece because it would be like back bar, be able to get the additional spell damage and then front bar, and then you have the enchantment for like that couple seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said, for basically now it's more of a tank set than it was a medium set from prior. Unfortunately, I was trying to do a mag stam tank kind of set gear focus this week, but did not realize that the Torix Pact had changed until after I'd put it in the notes, because I actually have Torix Pact on a stam class that I'm building right now, and now I'm going to have to find another set of gear. Luckily, it's craftable, and my crafter has a shit ton of mats, so you know what, not a big deal. So moving on to the very last is the Fortified Brass. And from what I have heard, Fortified Brass used to be crap, and now it's a heck of a lot better. But at the 2-item
honestly,
bonus...
actually, it was nerfed. It's the other way around.
Oh.
Yeah. It was nerfed.
Oh.
Back when it first dropped, it gave more armor on the last line. It was, basically the equivalent of getting your major resistances up. You'd get the 5,000 plus.
Oh.
So
wow.
for a while, it was looked down upon in comparison to Akaviri Dragon Guard. Because Akaviri Dragon Guard gave a similar amount of armor, but then it said, above 50% health, get more weapon and spell damage.
Jeesh. That makes sense.
But for those who generally didn't need that weapon and spell damage, I mean, Fort Brass was always pretty decent. It's just consistent. I think resistance numbers have kind of semi-fallen out of favor. I mean, it's still okay. I mean, PvP-wise, it's not something I would use. I would choose either Akaviri Dragon Guard or some other sets. But,
yeah, exactly.
But, for just a generic, armor, resistance increase, Fortified Brass, to have the armor rating the entire time is pretty decent.
Yep. So yeah, in that case, what Winters was just saying is if you are going to use Fortified Brass, I would consider putting it on, your body pieces, and then find another set to put on your weapons and your jewelry. Just that way, like he's saying, that way you can have your armor bonus at all times, especially if you're going to be running this as a tank, which I am using as a tank right now. Like I said, on my Argonian Necro tank, I've got Fortified Brass, and I'm actually using Torix Pact just to kind of give me a little bit of a boost in damage. But that's going to definitely change. So yeah, let's quickly go over the 5-piece set then. So 2 items adds 1206 maximum health. Tanks always need health, so that's always good. 3 items adds 1487 armor. Same with 4 items, adds another additional 1487. And then 5 items adds the big whopping 3460 armor. Again, like I said, not a bad, tank set for beginners. Again, it's craftable, so I mean, it's going to cost you next to nothing. Most people will make you a white set in potentially training, with the training trait on it, just to kind of give you a hand leveling up. There's a lot of people out there that are very, very helpful. Like we were saying throughout the beginning of the show there, the ESO community is very, very forthcoming and helpful. But one thing I can say is don't ever expect something for nothing. I know that as a beginning player, obviously you can't offer something, but don't ask for, a big, massive, blue or green or blue or gold or purple or gold set, Just say, hey, can somebody make me a basic white fortified brass set or Torix pack?
And offer to pay them.
Yeah.
Tip your crafter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, like you said, because you're a beginner, you're not going to have, tens of thousands of gold. But even if you're willing to offer them, like 1,000, I mean, you can make 1,000 gold just by killing a bunch of enemies for 30 minutes, like not that much.
Throughout the leveling process with leveling gear, I mean, even if it's, 10 levels, let's say on the minimum, a crafted set of gear top to bottom, I mean, it's not really that expensive, but remember, another player is going out of their way to make you the gear.
Yep.
At least offer. I mean, a lot of times is, I'd say more than likely somebody who's looking at, some guy who's leveling from 1 to 10, 10 to 20, that I'm sure they'll be like, whatever, but tip him, give him something.
Yeah.
Offer something. Do the right thing, but don't expect that also to extend when, you're finally getting CP 160 and you need a crafted set, because then you're paying, because those mags are a little more expensive. But I mean, Fort Brass, let's just say, for instance, going back to the set, I mean, you're looking for the equivalent of what that armor means. For the most part, you're looking at a 9% damage reduction over the course of the whole 5-set piece. I mean, you used to be able to get 8% when it was first released, because it was like 5,280 armor, so it would be about an 8% cut to damage from that line alone, plus the other 4, so it's like 12%. But those damage, that percentage adds up.
Oh, for sure it does. For sure it does. Oh. All right, guys. Well, we are at that time. It's I think it's time to close out the show. Unfortunately, we obviously didn't get to the class changes, but we still have one more week. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to forego an Acolyte's Corner, and we'll go over the class changes. As like I said, the update 27 is going to drop on Tuesday, August 24th. So we will have this episode out for you guys just prior to that. And maybe, the nice part is maybe they will actually have finalized all their changes and released the actual patch notes for update 27, and we can give you an actual 100% guaranteed number. But for now, guys, we're officially on iTunes. We have now been for a couple of weeks. And if you guys like the show, I would encourage you guys to leave us a review on iTunes. If for every 5-star review that we do receive, we can show you some love on the show. We'll read it out on the air. But we also do consider asking you to leave us a review on any of the platforms that you like to listen: Spotify, Google Podcasts, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
If you want to see him get rid of the Winter's Noble guy, just let him know.
Sorry, guys.
If you think he's a dick.
Sorry, guys. It's gonna take Winter's not showing up for me to get rid of him. But yeah, guys, we always appreciate all of the support. Thank you guys all for listening. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys, again, can leave it in the iTunes review. No review is good. No review is bad. I want to hear all you guys have to say, what you guys have to think of. But if you guys want to send us an email, you can do so by sending me an email at knebulomedia, and that is KNEBULLO media@gmail.com. Or if you guys want, you guys can leave us a voice message, and you can do so by visiting anchor.fm/starfallengames/message. And last but not least, if you want, you can find me over on Twitch at Starfallen Games, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, also at Starfallen Games. Little side note, YouTube, if you guys want to see how bad Kinara is at first-person shooters, go and take a look at some of his old COD PS4 VODs. They are terrible.
We we need to play something on another like off night or something like that, or an off day.
I will boot my PS4 up to play some good old COD. Or even hell, I got COD on my computer now too. So, guys, so usually I am streaming on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. This week, the week of the episode airing, is going to be a little bit harder for me. I'm going to be streaming on Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and of course, the typical Sunday. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be working extremely long hours, so it's not possible for me to be able to stream and still get enough sleep. But, guys, Winters, anything you want to add before we end the show?
Yeah, one day I'll actually set something up, so I'll have like a Twitter set up or something like that. I'll have my information up and post maybe up some artwork, and I'll try to get some stuff going myself. But
for
that'll
sure,
all in due time. It's all about getting this thing set up. Show the love to Kinara for getting this going. Organizing this. I mean, I'm here for the ride and for the entertainment value, but he definitely puts in the time and effort to try to organize it and create a quality broadcast, and for everybody, and try to get more involved in the game and the lore and the world and the community. And I think it serves a purpose well. And I'm here for that, and I'm here to support anybody that generally wants to better the community and have a good time. I'm a community kind of person, so.
Well, thanks for that, Winters. I really appreciate that you think I actually spend that much time. No, I'm just kidding. Editing a 2-hour podcast is always fun. So last week,
that's a lot more effort than I'm willing to put in. So
last week I said screw it. I pretty much just posted the raw footage, which unfortunately might hurt me a little bit when it comes to iTunes, because iTunes is very, very stringent if you have a clean video thing. Your podcast is technically not for mature audiences. It has clean lyrics. The F words and the S words and the.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm just as bad for it. But this week I will be editing those out with some bleepers. I mean, at least we're not going adult oriented in sexual innuendos and references and stuff like that. I mean, we're okay there. I mean, swear words are gonna happen.
I have to keep that in mind.
I never told you. I never told you.
Yeah, that's new to me. Whoops.
Hey, I wasn't doing any better. My very first episode, I even said right at the beginning of my first episode ever, this is going to be a family-oriented show, and the language on this show will be kept to a minimum, if not 0. And within the first 10 minutes of my podcast, I had said the F word at least 3 times. So, that being said, guys, really appreciate it again. Thank you all so very, very much for stopping in and, giving us the support. Sorry that it took us so long to get through everything and we didn't get through the class changes like I had wanted to. But until next time, folks, may your moon sugar be ever sweet, your ales ever strong. We'll catch you next week.